Hello everyone and welcome to July. I'm here to bring you your July general readings. I hope you're all having a great summer, and for those of you in the southern hemisphere, a great winter. We just rounded the solstice here, so we're going to bring it in through July. First off, I'm conducting a little bit of a giveaway. I love your guys' comments so much, and I want to keep encouraging the comments to stay alive and to stay inspired as we build this little YouTube channel and the community begins to grow. The number of views was down, which I'm actually quite happy for. That means a lot of people are actually out getting after it and out getting her done. So that's really good to see. But for those of you that are watching, your moon, your sun, and your ascendant signs, leave comments, inspired comments, and I may pick you to receive this Tarot of the Elves Tarot just kind of at random. I want you guys to know that I read all of your comments, and I try to respond to as many of them as I can. So, as well, check the description box down below. There's some new ways to get in touch with me. I'm on Instabook and Facegram and Patreon now, so feel free to get in touch with me if you would like. Please remember that these readings are for entertainment purposes only. Without further ado, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy your readings. Hello, Cancer. You guys are up first. How about that? It's finally your guys' turn. Happy birthday to all of you. I hope you're all doing well and in a position of comfort, strength, joy, abundance, bliss. You notice me tap my cards there. You guys are up first, and that's what I do to clean my deck. I do have lots of crystals and gems around that carry certain properties to them, esoteric properties. But when it comes to cleaning my deck, a simple tap is all it takes, and we're ready to begin anew and begin fresh. We're asking for Cancer, what are any hidden messages? What are any stuck energies? And what are the healing messages for Cancer for July 2017? Yes, we're already in July. Some of you have probably already taken notice to this little flipper and popper. Ace of Wands. What a great card to have. I think you guys are out and about for this month. I think that there's like a lot of high energy around you, a lot of activity, even for those of you that might not have a lot of extracurricular activity as part of your regimented routine. You may find yourself actually being inspired to engage in some new things, and some new things that are actually kind of going to be involving physical activity, or even some sort of mental stimulation, albeit I'm not sure what this is, vocational school for some people, or maybe thoughts of taking some night classes or education or whatever it might be. Ace of Wands, something's got you inspired here, okay? So Cancer, flippers and poppers, the subscribers know they always just go back in the deck, and we'll take extra note if it comes out in the reading. But for now, it's just messages that, just to get the overall feeling how things are going. So yes, I hope you are all in a place of abundance, bliss, joy, and happiness at present time, Cancer. This is for Cancer for July 2017. All right, Tarot is organized. The universe source has done its work in terms of organizing things, and it's shown me which part of the deck to read from. And now here we go. We're going to lay out, oh, sorry, put that in the wrong spot. All right, we're going to lay out our 7-card spread for the 7 major areas, the 7 chakras, energy centers in our bodies, and life areas that we like to tend to look at. So, bottom of the deck, what have we got? We've got number 7, the Chariot. There it is. There's that activity I was talking about. There's sort of this quick moving energy about and around the sign of Cancer while the sun is in your sign. Cancer, some of you may be experiencing your vacations this month, your time away, visiting of distant friends or relatives, and just kind of, like I said, being out and about, being engaged. And for some of you, you may even find yourself a little bit busier than you had expected, a little bit more on your plate than you may have wanted. But again, something is coming along here. You're in this energy flow for a particular reason. The Chariot is a major energy. It's number 7 major arcana. So when you're in the Chariot energy, there's purpose. It's purpose driven. There's reason behind it. There's somewhere that you are going, or that some goal that you are pursuing, and you've kind of kicked it into high gear now. You've kind of push the fast forward button to sort of kind of get through. We've come through Gemini now. We've come through Taurus. We've come through some more of the slower moving and the gentle moving energies around. And now Cancer, for a lot of signs, you could be noticing like some competitive things coming about, or some other things where it's like the early bird gets the worm type energy, that sort of stuff. And I just have the feeling that Cancer is very abundant in that energy and very in it and very with the flow and is going to capitalize on it, so to speak. So number 7, Chariot, in the overall energy, Cancer. So whatever you set your intention on, it just says like Godspeed. Let's move forward. Let's go for it. Let's get action behind our thoughts, and then things are going to be happening at a rather quick pace. Okay, and that's all right. I hope you embrace it well. Let's see what we're doing in grounding. Excellent, Cancer. We've got 4 of Swords straight up in grounding. So this means a nice balance here of actually being at one with yourself in the moment. Knowing that kind of home is where the heart is, and this security feeling that comes with the 4 of Swords. Many decks, the imagery on the wall, wherever the 4 of Swords, you've always got the person lying down and the 4 swords. Sometimes the 4th sword is underneath the bed, but there's always like the imagery of the room that shows like is the reflective of the security or the sanctity or the protection that is around you at this time. And this is coming in the grounding form, so it just means that you have been taking care of your responsibilities. Cancer has been exceedingly responsible and led you into a place now where growth and expansion is promoted. It's like time to spread your wings and fly, but 4 of Swords and grounding is kind of like you guys are going to want to be doing it on a full tank of gas, right? On a full stomach and on a good night's sleep, right? It's like, don't talk to me about my soul until you filled my belly kind of thing, right? With this Chariot and 4 of Swords, it's like, yes, we could have all the information, we could have all the inspiration in the world, but unless we process it and get active about it, what purpose does it serve us? And Cancer, these cards are showing that you guys are like kind of climactically aware of that right now. Like it's really good energy and grounding and a time for expansion. Even though it may seem like there is some like maybe certain apathies or lethargies that are about you right now, it's stating that these kind of things are leaving you grounded before a moment in time that's going to come where you are like almost going to be like kind of kicked in the tail feathers to like kind of get up and fly a little bit, right? To like kind of spread your wings and get after it, much like we saw in Chariot and Ace of Wands as it popped up. So that's really good to see this. This is like Cancer being prepared, I feel, with 4 of Swords energy there and grounding. And preparation is always a good energy to be in. It's kind of like, it means you're like the ultimate kind of position to think 2 steps ahead. Like because you're prepared, anything could happen, and you become more adaptable. You become more willing and more subtly able to adjust to anything that may come your way. Okay, and with that, let's see what's going on in the sacral. We've got a Justice card reverse. Okay, Cancer. Some of you may be feeling like it's about bloody time. Like, why is it seeming that, the hand you've been dealt or the life or the relationships that you've been in, something is seeming less than fair right now, less than what you feel is deserved. And this could come in the way of sexual activity, creative breakthroughs, or even, I would say, like profiting from creative abilities. And in some cases, this card is a protection of intellectual property that could have gone awry. You could have created or been inspired or done something where it's like people would have turned their head to take notes, but like maybe somebody out there didn't like patent or seek a patent or protect their intellectual property, and somebody was able to come in and scoop it, and then they posted it somewhere else or they published that work somewhere else, and unfortunately there wasn't anything you could do about it. So this card is a reminder, creatively and in all areas of life, not just creatively, but as we move forward, we've got to protect our rights and protect ourselves. Cancer, if you find yourself kind of in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the summer, engaging with partners or people, for those singles that are out there kind of still searching and exploring, it's just saying like you're going to really want to know your partner very well, or feel that sense of trust and that sense of protection before you enter into anything. So that could be like kind of short-term romantic or sexual of that nature, okay, with justice reversed in this position. A bigger energy, but a subtle reversal. Number 11 reverse is still number 11 the way I see it. What goes around comes around. But this is showing that you could be doing more to protect your rights, protect your energies around your energy field and your creative endeavors, okay? So if you guys are working on something, maybe now is not the right time to reveal it. Like you could be like really excited to get out there, but this is kind of trumping it. This is kind of saying we need to be more protective over our intellectual property, because kind of the day and times we live in is like, do the majority of people find, certain sacredness in similar things? Not really. If you could turn a dime for it, if it makes a profit, if you beat somebody to the punch, much like we talked about earlier, early bird gets the worm, then people are going to do that to you, right? And it's just kind of like you want to make sure. I'm not saying walk around being a very untrusting person, but just at the same time, like keep what's close to you, especially when it has the potential for power and for profit and things of that nature, right? We don't want to be giving that stuff away, like kind of casting your pearls before swine type thing. And then the next thing you know it, the thing that, your idea is now trending because, some joker came up with it. All right, I asked for clarifier for justice and gave me the hermit. And you've got the hermit up here now with 4 of swords. What a counterintuitive energy to the overall energy with Chariot and that Ace of Wands flipper we saw pop out, right? These cards are very much like the going within, and this is a very much like embracing the external, moving through external circumstances. So you may find, Cancer, that there's a large balance between this, right? Or you could be seeking balance for this, because we asked for clarifier on a justice reverse, which is a lack of balance at times too. Maybe a lot of Cancers are here asking like, well, maybe I don't quite feel comfortable in a crowd, or maybe, you had a Kundalini awakening and now like things are changed, and, certain friends are expecting you to go somewhere and you just don't feel like being a part of those kind of energies anymore while you're out searching, doing your own thing. So some of you, don't be surprised, if you're like kind of in between sort of communities or social circles at this time. And the hermit as well, saying that if you are looking for that creative breakthrough, that definitely it's coming from kind of shutting everything off for a time and going within to find it. But it's like there's not going to be very much time to do that. So it's kind of odd to see this combination up here. A lot of you are moving through this energy, and it's kind of probably got you confused and probably feeling a little bit out of sorts, like when it comes to your balance of like, who do I trust? Do I have any true allies? And the allies you have, like, how accessible are they, right? When it comes to sort of moving forward and feeling good about yourself. I feel is going to touch a lot of single Cancers, very much so. They're kind of like on the verge of like, well, what do we do here? Do we just come out into the community and say, all right, here I am, embrace me, this is what I do, and then, some of you may be losing these like certain things, like maybe you have an irrational fear of rejection, or maybe you just are saying to yourself, well, I don't want to go out and do that because, I feel this way about this particular thing, but yet everybody else in the social group may be out going to do it, and they're kind of like, well, what's wrong with them? Why don't they ever do this? Why don't they ever come out, right? And you're just like, well, I don't like that, or something to that effect, right? All right, let's move up into solar plexus. And you guys have got the King of Swords here. All right, so this is a good energy. We've mentioned friends, right? Social circles and things like this. And I feel, Cancer, like this would be a time of year, like surrounding your birthday, where it's kind of like you may just not want to have a to-do or a lot of people about you around you, so to speak, right? Whether it's a family reunion or we mentioned that vacationing earlier, maybe you're just almost kind of wanting to like get away with a certain friend or two, or this could represent a lover for some intuitively, right? This person externally, when we look at it, is someone with an air sign, so either a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, right? But this could be just about anybody in your environment here that is a very mature, seasoned listener, somebody that can give you good advice, and somebody as well that through authenticity of expression, so through their facial expressions, an authentic type person, you can tell they go about their way with the other, when they're interacting with another person, they're all in, so to speak. They're interacting for the benefit of both you and them, right? So it's kind of like, if this person is here in your environment, this is somebody you can be relating to be explaining things to, telling your story to, that will come through for you with some sort of like good advice, or at least some comfort that somebody is there to listen to what you're going through. King of Swords as well, a lot of times could represent a lawyer. So some of you that maybe are feeling a situation where you've had to go and get some consultations or some counsel regarding a legal matter, intuitively you will know through authenticity. Make eye contact when you're searching out retaining a particular lawyer, somebody who is like actually invested in you, rather than kind of just checked out and going through papers. Because for some cancers, I feel they're not going to want to screw around with whatever's been bothering them in regards to this justice reverse, right? It's kind of a different energy to see this hermit behind this card. And like, to be honest, like, I'm still a student of tarot after 22 years, right? I don't pretend or profess to know everything, and the hermit just reiterates it. It's kind of like saying, like, this is personal to somebody. I don't really want you to look into this, and not everybody needs to know what's going on, right? In that sort of situation. But from a general sense, for a point of view here, it's like, rely on your wisdom of previous experiences to get over whatever this injustice may be. And if you need some counsel, if you need to talk to somebody, make sure that that level of person is very authentic. If we want to internalize King of Swords, it's a very simple thing. Whatever it is you're going through, self-talk is going to help. Listen to yourself. Like, take note of the mental activity, the chain of thoughts. You know how like one thought leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Try and see if you can capture like 3 in a row, and then quiet your mind, or press the rewind button, so to speak, and be like, okay, well, why does that thought lead to that one? And why does that thought lead to that one? So that as you learn to master kind of quieting your mind, or realizing like why certain thoughts keep arising, because you are in touch with your feelings, Cancer, you may get more balance attained, from realizing how your emotions and your thoughts have a direct correlation with one another. So that sort of like Four of Swords and Hermit energy about quieting your mind when it just wants to run away, with sort of this kind of energy, you're knowing what to do. You're knowing your triggers. You're knowing your techniques for slowing it down, for settling it down. And you're just more so happy in being able to sort of like, instead of like being ruled by your thoughts and sort of dragged this way and that way, that you can actually like kind of grab the metaphorical remote control and be like, no, I don't want to think about, I don't want to go down that certain mental path right now. So we're going to think about dandelions and unicorns, or whatever it might be, like that takes you mind off it, right? It could be a lover, it could be a friend, it could be a childhood thing that really brings you out of certain funks, right? So whatever is, if there are certain things, Cancer, that have got you down in regards to something that has come along that hasn't been fair, the message so far is that the reason that this thing is occurring is that there is balance to be attained, that it's asking Cancer to come to the forefront and find that balance between emotion and thought, and really refine that balance, so that, you know, you're never in a position where you're left unprotected again, or you're having to recede back into, you know, kind of going deep within, because your confidence now can be stepped up, because you're feeling more balanced, you're feeling more authoritative and decisive in things that previously people could have saw you as a little bit Charlie Brownish about, like very wishy-washy, very, you know, sitting on the fence. Lucy would just tell him, like, make up your mind already, Charlie Brown. Like, you know, why can't you commit here in this certain thing? Okay? All right. We're going to leave it at that. We're going to move up to the heart. We've got 9 of Wands. Oh my goodness, Cancer. And who's to say like you haven't been battling? You've been running the marathon. You've been fighting the good fight. And you have accomplished a lot so far, I feel. Cancers are usually, I feel, ahead of the curve when it comes to maturing. the sort of, it's almost like from a Judeo-Christian point of view, it's like I always kind of, and this is me now, and I'm sorry for interjecting into your reading, but like I usually see this as like, if I could picture God, God would be like very much like a Cancer, right? That very like heartfelt, but yet very like progressive, very learn from mistakes, very patient, tolerant, yet very swift, very agile, very prominent and forthright. All of these things that go into being a Cancer is kind of like we are all collectively in remembrance of like how awesome the sign of Cancer truly is at this time, and how much you guys are contributing to like moreover the understandings of sort of the finer, more subtle things in life that allow us to just sort of be, there's so much that people could learn from you if they could see into your heart, and you do mature rather ahead of the curve due to this close association you have with emotion and feeling and things of that nature. And I'm not saying this is easy, because Nine of Wands is kind of like somebody that's they've put in a few rounds with the champ. They've gone blow for blow with their own selves at times when you haven't seen eye to eye with yourself. And I know that sounds weird to say, but it is that old true adage of being your own best friend or your own worst enemy. And when our emotions and our thoughts become out of balance, that's kind of what can really dictate that by happening, okay? So Nine of Wands there is just saying there's going to be patience required, and there's going to be some additional like awareness that's required on your guys' part to make it through any adversity or anything that's coming through this month, or any healing as well. You may just decide like to stand up and say, you know what, I'm more than a bundle of emotions. I'm more than the external triggers that affect me. I'm much more than that, right? And that's kind of that energy. So I want a little clarifier here. We've got a Queen of Wands, and we've got the Three of Cups here. So some of you in your heart now, you could be looking at relationships with fire signs, compatibility situations with Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For some of you, this is going to be like good friends. And for others of you, this could be situations where there's like some matchmaking potentially going on, or triangulated relationships. You may be a part of like a couple that maybe you're swingers now, and maybe there's conversations surrounding your open relationships. For those Cancers that are in open relationships, is going to sort of be at center stage when it comes to the heart. And for some of you, that could be that balance between thought and emotion. It could simply just be a thing where like you are I mentioned singles off the start, but it definitely pertains to people in open relationships now as well, I feel. Okay, and just making sure that if you are with a fire sign or engaged with a fire sign, that they are in accordance. This one came up upside down, but with clarifiers, I'll usually turn them straight up, because just the significators are the ones that I read in reverse. But if we want to internalize this as a clarifier again, this just could show that you finally have decided on what it is amongst many things that you are passionate about. Some of you may just be finding that you finally found something worth fighting for. You found some sort of purpose. And it could have to do with ideas that have resurfaced from the past, or something that takes you into sort of this ecstasy or into this state of bliss when you do it, and it's given you this purpose, and now you're going to continue to follow that. Okay, so that's what's up, Cancer, in the heart of hearts, heart chakra area. It's in Nine of Wands. It's kind of like exhausting energy, but it's more over positive the way I look at it. I don't sugarcoat readings, but the Nine of Wands, like when I see it, there's always a feeling that comes with it. And this time is like, it carries like the traditional like kind of energy is like exhausted or spent with it, but it's more so positive, because I feel like a choice or a decision has been made, and it's like that all-in thing again, where you've just gone for it or will be going for it. Okay, and communication comes up one wand less, and Eight of Wands. great. This is an excellent, harmonious time for you to be collaborating, to be talking to people about ideas, about situations. Clear the air with anybody if you feel you need to clear the air with them. And again, this travel is indicated here again with Chariot and now with Eight of Wands. We've got like the big travel plans coming up. Some of you could find yourself on the other side of the country or the other side of the world by the time mid-July rolls around, okay? Depending on whatever it may be. And the feeling is like it could happen after like connecting with somebody and then you become inspired. We had that Ace of Wands earlier. Yeah, there's a lot of inspiration surrounding this sign, and you may just decide to pick up and go for a couple weeks to like say, okay, well, short sabbatical from work, or I'm just gonna call the dog sitter or the husband sitter, and I'm just gonna be off for a little while, that sort of thing, right? And go and do whatever it is. And I didn't mean to pick on the husbands. It could be them, theirs, or wives. It's one of those things, general reading. But Eight of Wands, good communication, and travel is indicated through a result of that communication. No need to even look for clarity on that. It's simply what it means. It's good to see it there, right? I feel like that chakra for many of you, your spoken truth and your, sorry, I got a microphone now and it's attached to me and I can't do my readings without clothes on anymore, so I'm just kind of getting used to that. If I scrub the microphone, I'm sorry. All right, now we've got Judgment card reversed up in third eye, the pineal area. Okay, so this kind of lack of trust has been a theme here. It's kind of resurfacing. I don't always mean to point out the negative, but I asked Tarot, what are the healing stuck energies, right? So for some of you, I do feel that there are certain trust situations at hand. And is it with yourself, like Cancer? Like, do you trust yourself to just go and accomplish something, or to go all in with whatever it is that you might be doing, right? Or is there a lack of trust that maybe something had been stolen from you in the past, where we saw with this, and now we were very guarded with Four of Swords and Hermit energy. So the Judgment is saying, okay, what have we learned? How have we healed from whatever this is that's been taken from us? And how are we making ourselves better? How are we repositioning, realigning our spiritual being to still be an open person, but yet have our certain protections when it comes to, having to deal, because sometimes when you deal with, 2 out of 3 people, 2 out of 3 people is good, but then that third person always comes along and you're just like, I don't know how I feel about them, right? But at some point you kind of have to like tolerate them or trust them a little bit, at the same, maybe for the sake of another or for the sake of a group. And this Judgment is saying, okay, how do you go about that? Where is your threshold, as it were, to someone, receiving your trust and your loyalty, versus not receiving your trust or your loyalty, right? There are probably, for some of you, certain attributes or certain things that you look for in people when you meet them or when they come into your circle, where you're like, okay, well, I understand that, I relate to that, so therefore I feel comfortable in that and I can trust it. Well, sometimes does it always serve you 100%? Maybe it does, right? But it's sometimes like we're kind of always having to keep our head on a swivel, or like maybe something didn't work before. You had that good feeling about somebody and they just turned out to be a real snake, and now you're having to like kind of question everybody again, is the feeling I have with that Judgment reversed up in that third eye. Just looking for a little clarity on that. A Page of Wands, okay? So yeah, and this goes back to this confidence thing we were speaking of too, with this reversal on this Judgment. Do you trust yourself? Are you confident in your decision making at this time, Cancer? Are you confident enough to like pick one thing and go for it? To set your sights on something and then go, to maybe take this sort of leap of faith where it's like, oh man, home is so comfortable, I'm feeling so grounded, but I'm inspired and I have a chance to go and travel and live like really freely, or just kind of going to have to leave home behind and, on a moment's notice. And are you kind of prepared to do that? Because we had certain things regarding sort of preparations up for you, right, with this Four of Swords. So this is a confidence, trust, and loyalty kind of package that I've seen here with these major arcana mixed in with all these wands that are here, right? Because we're looking at ourselves, and we're looking at, what makes us tick, what breathes our fire, what breathes us, we kind of ask ourselves, right? When we come into that point of still, like, are we really the ones doing the breathing, or is something or somebody breathing us, and kind of trusting your spiritual journey, being confident, maybe for some of you, just even in the sort of the new age movement that, you used to be conditioned to believe, oh, well, that's paganism, it's awful, right? And you're like, well, I don't know if I can, get with it because it goes against everything I believed in up until a point, right? Well, do you have the confidence enough to be open and truly receptive, right? Maybe for a lot of guys out there, you're kind of like, well, maybe you've been a very assertive, maybe you've been a very intuitively authoritative person, and then these cards are saying, well, how confident are you in your receiving, right? Okay, we're going to leave that at that. There's a lot up for you guys, Cancer. This has been sort of like hands at 10 and 2 kind of reading for me, right? As we've got the Chariot up, and I'm just like not wanting to go off into the ditch somewhere with these cards that are up, but this is like all abound kind of stuff. And look at the Emperor comes in from Source being like, all right, don't worry about it. This is like, you will manage, Cancer. You are in a good time right now, I feel. And I think that the intuitive side of the messages that are coming through these cards are just saying that if you can find whatever it is you need to do to trust yourself, go and do it, because this trust in self, this sort of fertile garden of our confidence is going to be center stage. And the Emperor is saying, like, can you make it grow? Can you make a go of it? Can you commit to yourself? Can you have the convictions in your heart to, do the things, to see things from all sides and be managed in that situation? So yeah, a very good card here, but the Emperor energy sometimes is not overly easy to deal with, because like it almost borderlines on like self-control, right? I'm very glad it didn't show up in reverse, right? So some of you, yeah, you may be finding you're tempted, you may be finding you're dipping in to certain delicacies or certain comfort things, throughout these next 2 weeks that are like really allowing you to stay comfortable and feel comfortable. But there's also going to be the traditional sort of things that come with Sun and Cancer that are kind of like causing, you to manage your way through conflict or find resolve through adversity. And it's doing so because, it's bringing balance back to Cancer, right? It's not all feeling, or it's not just all our minds running away on us. There's this balance of being able to find the ebb and flow of thought and feeling, so that, we can get out there and have the confidence to close a business deal, get out on the road, hop on that plane to go take care of something assertively and authoritatively, right? And also as well, what we mentioned before here, and knowing when it's time to pull back. Just get into the gap, get into the silence, recharge our batteries, and don't feel guilty or ashamed that you may not be accomplishing as much as you want, where it's like, and then you get out and you're doing this type of energy and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm at the risk of being exhausted again or running my emotions right out. So we are really seeking balance in July, and it's almost like Source is saying with this Emperor card, it's like nothing more than you can handle is, I feel, really going to come along in these next couple weeks, but the stuff that is asking you to manage your entire being, all the way down from the ticky-tacky day planner schedule things right up into your meditations, where you'll be meditating along fine, and then a trigger comes along and it's kind of like, oh, the mind train just kind of picks up and runs away on you again, and you're like, oh well, the moment was lost because I started thinking about this, that, or the other thing, right? Okay, Cancer, I'll leave it at that. We'll just get into your oracle for the last little bit here. Whoa, you guys are going to get 2 cards. Happy birthday. Wisdom of the Oracle says happy birthday. You guys are getting 2 cards. Okay? And I'm going to read from the book again for this monthly general reading, just because the messages that come with this deck are really amazing. They're really good. Just had to reach over for my book. Let's start with number 44, Thinker. What an awesome number, 44. Really good when you see them doubled up like that. I really like to see that. And so we got the little Thinker. She's sitting on a box, and she's got her chin on her fist, just like that old statue of David, like doing the thinking, right? But at least she's outside of the box, right? So that's good to see. What could it all mean? Let's just bear with me while I grab my page here. 42, what comes after that? 44, the Thinker. Strategy, being analytical and logical. The ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple, and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So that's really good, and it really capstones or reinforces this Emperor card in from Source. So that's a good card to have. Now, 51, we've got Milk and Honey. So we got this little baby elephant playing in a bowl of porridge here, and it looks like it's been topped up with a little bit of milk and honey, right? Was that biblical, where they used to say the land of milk and honey? I can't remember. Well, let's take a look here at card number 51, Milk and Honey. The taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, and trusting that your needs will be met. You've entered a sweet time in your life, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious, when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in the authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting, yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are given the gift of nourishment in every form. Okay? And we definitely saw it. Like, look at good potential possibilities through Chariot, right? And then plus all the good protections of home and abundance there in terms of our Four of Swords energy. Okay, so a really great reading. So for you guys, Cancer, if you're having some legal troubles, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be managed. Just, continue what the Oracle message says, like being in that moment and being receptive to the blessings that are currently in your life. And it's like everything will be fine. The Emperor in from Source straight up is kind of like, don't worry about it. It's all going to be managed, okay? Cancer, it's always a pleasure to read your cards. Thank you for letting me do so. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.